And it is Tego and Tracy Venturi with the Venturi Group of Real Broker in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Episode
47.
Thank you, Tracy. I was trying to remember. So we've been doing this for 9 years here on KIVA, 1600 AM. So happy to be able to talk to you every week about what we see going on in the real estate market. It keeps us up to date on what's going on, as well as I think we bring some useful information. And we do appreciate everybody that, all of you that reach out to us, refer your friends, and let us help everybody with real estate.
Yeah, we do appreciate you, and you send us your friends and family to help with real estate, and we feel so honored to be a part of that. So thank you for that. Tego, we've got some great topics today. I know we love to talk real estate. So what are we going to fit into our session?
Well, I went down the rabbit hole trying to figure out, okay, how does Albuquerque compare price-wise and affordability-wise to other homes in the region? So I've got a whole bunch of interesting information on that, not just on prices, but also on affordability, and actually across the entire country. How does Albuquerque affordability stack up, housing affordability? Because that's the big thing right now. I mean, that's really the top of list when we talk about real estate topics right now, is honestly lack of affordability. And it's not just in purchase, it's also in rent as well.
Totally is. And you've got some good information on renting too.
Yeah.
So what else?
Tracy, you have a topic you wanted to talk about.
Sure. I want to talk about, we've had a couple of you call, and, the dilemma of, I want to buy a new house, but I also need to sell. And so we're going to talk about just the different options when we structure how to sell and buy at the same time.
There was a story on Zillow, so we'll kind of walk through that and give some tips on that and go through it. So we've got more, obviously, we can talk about. The big story in the market right now, I'll give you my quick 30-second market update, which is still very low number of homes on the market. That's really the story in real estate, is low supply, low inventory, whatever you want to call it. Less people listing their homes for sale this year than, and I mean, you have to go back a long ways to find a year where less people were putting their homes on the market. So people just aren't moving as often. So they're staying put. But I will tell you, I mean, there's been a lot of conversation about home prices and appreciation, and did prices go down? And yes, in some markets around the country, home prices have gone down when you look at it from a year-over-year basis. And
I can just guess, Tego, where those cities are, right?
Well,
the cities with the biggest run-ups, and maybe where people were leaving during the pandemic.
Yep.
And it affected them, I would guess.
San Francisco,
Austin, Boise, Austin, Phoenix. I mean, those were the top markets that went up so drastically during the pandemic.
Exactly.
So of course they pulled back a little bit, unlike our market.
Yeah, and San Francisco is, you almost got to put that one on an island by itself, because it's kind of an odd bird. But I mean, there have been some markets that have seen some price declines, but the moderately priced markets are the ones that have still seen prices go up. So our market is an example of that, moderately priced compared to some other Southwest cities in particular. And we're going to talk about that in a second.
The affordability here versus other regional areas.
But let me just give you one more thing. Is I did sneak peek first half of May, because May last year was the peak of home prices.
It was a frenzy and the peak of prices.
Yeah, so closed sales in May of last year were the highest we'd ever seen. And then from, starting in May all the way through January, we saw a little bit of step down in median price through the year, not substantial. But the question is, okay, are we going to hit that year over year increase again? And at first glance, at least looking at the first half of May, it's a median price up 4%
over
so far.
Last May.
Versus last May, same time frame, same 15 days of the month.
So there you have it.
Yeah. So
that's an interesting stat, because I don't know that people know that. We see national headlines, and we see something where home prices are coming down or something, and they're talking about the San Francisco, Austin, Boise, Phoenix, maybe. And those vary a lot. So when I throw all four of those cities out, Phoenix is very different in what it's pulled back compared to San Francisco or Boise. I mean, it's very slight compared to Austin or San Francisco. But anyway.
Yeah, and we talk in generalities. I mean, Phoenix is a big area. It's a
very
big market, right? It's not just Phoenix. It's all the other cities, and we'll talk about that here in a second. So, and so at the same time, the number of homes selling is down substantially from last year. So there's kind of this two different things going on. Yes, sales are down, but prices have continued to appreciate. So that's the short of it.
I know I'm not the statomatic like you, but let me add to that a little bit. So I was reading something this week, and it was really interesting because it just goes in line with what we've been talking about for months now, is less homes for sale on the market. And what I was reading about was the percentage of people who are willing to move for a job used to be in the 80s and 90s. A huge percentage of the population would move cities for the right job. They would literally sell their house, pack up their rental, whatever, and move. And we're not talking from Albuquerque to Rio Rancho. I'm talking about a real move, right? Right now, people are not willing to pack up and move for a new job. They're going to look for a job that they can continue to do from where they live now. If, their family and their life is there, they don't have to move so much now. And we know that to be true when we talk to all of you, who listen to our show, that the necessity to move for work isn't like it was in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's interesting. And obviously the work from home pandemic changed things drastically on how people use and live in their homes. And the work from home things really had an impact on the real estate world.
And this wasn't on our list, but what we're seeing a lot of lately from you, our listeners, as well as, the people we're working with day in and day out, the wide open floor plan isn't as desirable as it was. Now, it's still desirable, but everybody's wanting that little bit of private space where they can disconnect from the rest of the house and go to work, right? Literally go into a different space that's not the great room, kitchen, dining room.
Yep.
They want that office that's kind of made like an office, not a bedroom with a closet, and you feel like you're in the bedroom all day.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So Tracy, if people want to get a hold of us, why don't you remind everybody who we are and how to get a hold of us? Sure.
Venturi Realty Group of Real Broker here in New Mexico. You can get a hold of us by phone, 448-8888. Such a simple number, right, Tego? 448-8888. You did a good job when you found that number.
Yeah, I did.
Or you can get on our website. Website is welcomehomeabq.com, and you can reach us through that. We have a team of great realtors that work with us, specializing in working with buyers, specializing in working with investors, specializing in land, specializing in new construction, specializing in working with sellers. We've got people that are really strong in all of those categories. So feel free to reach out and see how we can help you with your real estate needs.
And we have location-specific people, too, that really know certain areas as well.
Right. But, real estate now, with all the tools we have, we don't need like a neighborhood expert to be really good at our craft.
I think that's a really fair point. That's for sure. That is for sure. It's definitely different than
the old days,
10, 20 years ago, for sure.
Yeah. We had a call the other day.
20 years ago, let's say. Yeah.
I had a call the other day from a realtor they were in California somewhere. I can't remember where. And they wanted to know if we knew Sandia Park. And I said, yes, I happen to know Sandia Park really well. I started my real estate career there selling land. I worked in the sales office at San Pedro Creek. My parents lived there. We hiked there. It's 30 minutes from our office. It's, part of it. And they were interviewing 3 realtors of who they were going to refer their client to.
Mm-hmm.
And it was sort of like, yes, Sandia Park is in our metro area. If they would have said, Las Vegas, New Mexico, of course, I would have said no.
Yeah.
But anything in our metro area, I just happen to know Sandia Park really well. They could have said Edgewood, and I could have said, yes, I know Edgewood. I know Las Lunas, and our team members know all those areas, because when we get clients coming and needing to find a house or sell a house, They're all over our metro area. And, you know, when you look at that map we have on our website or that we have available that shows all the places where we have sold and helped buyers, the dots cover the whole metro area. It's
Yeah.
like there's so many we have to pull back because in the last 3 years alone, we've helped over 1,400 people with their home buying, selling, investing needs, right? So we're everywhere, which is great.
Yep.
And on our website, there's a lot of great resources, right? We've got our relocation guide that we just updated. It's really cool. We've got open houses.
We've got market data.
We've got, of course, stats, market data.
I've had a few people when I go to like networking events or different events in the realtor community, they go, "Oh, I love your website. You got so much good data and stats up there." So yeah, there's a bunch of good data and stats up there.
Some good stuff we pull in that we pay for like the home buyers resources, home sellers resources. Right. So a lot of stuff that's not just you and I. So,
for sure.
But there's a lot of stuff there that's just you and I too. So a lot of resources.
Anyway, and our website is welcomehomeabq.com. Okay, Tracy, I pulled it up on the screen here. So if you are watching the video, you've been seeing this here for a bit. But we were talking about this. Okay, how does Albuquerque rank from a price standpoint, right? We've been talking about the affordability challenges in Albuquerque, and really it's everywhere in the country, affordability, home affordability. And in particular, I wanted to look at how does Albuquerque compare to other southwestern markets, other southwestern cities. And so
this is median data, not average.
This is
median price.
List price.
This
is list price. And what I did is I did a 90-day kind of moving average to get an idea of what it is. So it wasn't just like a one week pinpoint, but I did Lubbock, Amarillo, and El Paso in Texas, right? Because those are kind of...
Yeah, they're all around us.
Yeah, they're all around us. And the thing that's interesting, those three are the most affordable. So Lubbock is list price $285, El Paso $319, Amarillo $355.
Then we go to,
and then we get into Los Lunas. So I put Los Lunas and Rio Rancho separately, which was, and so we look at Los Lunas. $360 now is the median list price. Can you believe that? In Los Lunas? Yeah, I know.
Our listeners are probably going, "Oh my gosh, $360 is the median list price in the last 90 days in Los Lunas."
And then Las Cruces $370. And then Albuquerque, we jump up to $435,000. That's for Albuquerque proper, not the whole area. And then Tucson, which is
$440.
$440. I mean, Tucson and Albuquerque very similar in prices for sure.
Very similar in layout too.
Yeah, similar in size.
Yeah,
and I threw Colorado Springs in here as well because it's similar in size. Even though I don't know if you'd call it a Southwest city. But it was interesting. But, you know, it was interesting. So Albuquerque was $435,000. Rio Rancho is $457,000. Remember when Rio Rancho was the community you went to buy the affordable homes?
Oh, totally do. Yep. There's a lot of new homes in that number, I'm sure.
Yeah. And that's just it. You know, there's many more new homes, larger homes in Rio Rancho than you're going to find on average in Metro Albuquerque.
Well, and there's a lot of...
I mean, not Metro, but proper Albuquerque.
There's a lot of them in Rio Rancho as well that are on larger lots, half to 1 acre or even larger. So, you know, a lot of those are custom homes and even the builders, you know, a lot of newer homes that they're getting that newer home price for. It's all new equipment, all new warranty, all new heating, cooling. That's going to keep somebody from having a lot of maintenance for the next 10 or 15 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And then after that, I jump over to Phoenix Metro, and all I put in here was Phoenix, city of Phoenix proper, and Mesa, because those are the two biggest, you know, cities. The number, you know, I mean, you can do Chandler, you could do Gilbert, you could do, you know,
Scottsdale. You didn't put that in there, but that's a different animal.
The numbers off the chart. I didn't put Santa Fe in there either because the numbers off the chart. It's over 1 million. You know, so I just, you know, I'm trying to. Where the real people live.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mesa.
So Mesa.
Yeah. So Mesa,
Arizona.
Mesa, Arizona, which again used to be the affordable, you know, part of the Phoenix Valley. Median list price $517,000.
That's funny because we drove through Mesa a few times in the last year, and it's where you lived for a while
I
when
did.
you lived in the Phoenix area, and it was the affordable place
Because I could afford it. Yeah.
find an apartment back
Yeah,
then,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And a lot of areas in Mesa look tired. You know, that $517,000 house in Mesa is not your brand spanking new D.R. Horton or Pulte house in a new home community. It's one that's now 30, 40, 50 years
Well,
old.
and there are no new homes in those areas. I mean, you got
they're
to
infilled.
go out. If you go out, well, we don't need to get into Phoenix Metro, but yeah, I mean, if you go far east Mesa, yeah, you can find new homes communities, but there's nothing,
right.
Anyway,
but they're still not real affordable, even if
yeah.
you get an hour from the airport. Next up after Mesa
is Colorado Springs at $565,000 as median list price, and then Phoenix tops it at $581,000 median list price in Phoenix. That's the entire city of Phoenix.
Wow.
Which obviously covers a large area, a big variety. So
but that's just Phoenix. It's not Scottsdale. It's not Chandler. It's which that's amazing because there's a lot of really old neighborhoods in Phoenix too. So
yeah. And so
we're kind of in the middle there.
Yeah, we're kind of in the middle. So Albuquerque, kind of in the middle. El Paso, homes are less expensive.
Lubbock's
and
most
Amarillo
affordable.
Were less. And I didn't put Midland on the list, but Midland's more affordable.
Right. And
I'm not going to say anything bad, but I think we're our
of all those places more affordable, you'd rather be in Albuquerque.
I'd rather be in Albuquerque.
And Albuquerque or Rio Rancho.
Yeah.
Or Las Lunas.
And just one more thing just to wrap this up. So what we were talking about was just straight list prices, right? But there's another measurement too, which is affordability, where it takes into account the median income of the people that live in those communities.
Sure.
And I'll tell you, of the 250 markets that are tracked, Albuquerque ranks 126. However, just about every one of those markets is Midwest, East Coast, not the Southwest. The only markets that are considered more affordable, again, when you account for median wages, are Corpus Christi, Texas, Midland, Odessa.
A lot of oil and gas, oil.
Yeah. And then Abilene is a little bit better, which again, it's not quite, I guess you call it the Southwest.
Abilene's not too far.
No, it isn't, really isn't. And then, but we're right in there with Waco, Yuma, Lake Havasu City, Tucson, Laredo. We're better than San Antonio from affordability, and get this, even though El Paso home prices are a lot less expensive, our affordability is better. We have more homes available for people of the median income than El Paso does, because the median income is quite a bit less in El Paso versus Albuquerque. So anyway, just interesting roundup. It's like, home prices are unaffordable, but we're not as bad as some.
Yep.
Actually, we're better than most, especially in the Southwest. So, yeah.
So let's talk about the other topic of buying and selling a home at the same time. We had
I'm going to pull this up on the screen again. If you're watching on YouTube or on Facebook, by the way, if you are watching on YouTube or Facebook, just give us a like or a share or a follow or a thumbs up or whatever the social media icon is that's appropriate for the platform. But I'm going to pull this up on the screen so people can see it as you go through the story here, Tracy.
I'm going to start down all the way at buying a house before selling, Tego. So you have to scroll down a ways.
I'm there.
I know, but in that article itself, there's lots of topics before you get to buying a house before selling.
Okay, got it. No, I think I've got it.
Okay. So, if you choose to buy a second home before selling, here's a few ways, right? So making an offer with a sale contingency. So sometimes we make an offer on a house contingent on selling your current house. Now in this market, we've had that happen. We've had a few in the last 3 months where we have been successful in getting an offer accepted on a home, knowing it's contingent on the sale of your current home. Not the strongest way to make an offer. Sellers have more choices right now, usually more than one offer. So if we're going to get an offer accepted for you to buy a house without selling your current house first, but having it on the market, it's going to be really important that we do have like a really strong offer on your house. So it's sort of that dance of getting your house on the market when we get your right house, but we're ready to go. Like,
Yeah, it's quite
we
a
have
balance.
photos
Yeah,
ready. Your house is ready to show the day we get an offer accepted, because we need it to be on the market really quickly so that you've got where you're going. Because people don't want it to go. They don't want to put their house on the market before they have the other one secured, because what if the right one doesn't come along and they get their house sold, and then where do they
correct.
move? Most people know where their contingency plan is. Other things, you can put an offer in and ask for an extended closing to give you that time. If you can go ahead and buy without selling, sometimes if you can make it a little bit of a longer escrow period, to give you some time to sell that house that you don't really have to sell to be able to buy, but it would be more comfortable. Other things is, is there any way to do it with cash? Just borrow from your home equity line of credit, or from savings, or from a 401k, and then pay yourself back when you sell, or get a bridge loan. Now, there are bridge loans available these days. I know a great lender that's doing bridge loans. So it's an option. So you have a short-term loan to cover things while you're buying the new house, which you would still need to qualify for with both homes, right? And then for a lot of people, and we do this too, rent out that home that you're in now and keep it if you can afford to buy. And
Let me address that, since I, love analyzing real estate investments, or real estate as an investment. And there is a place for that, and we are seeing that. And that may be one of the reasons we don't see as many homes on the market or being listed for sale. The rental market has gone up. In fact, in Albuquerque, three-bedroom home, median three-bedroom home price for rent is about $2,000 now.
Right.
That's an all-time high. It's about 11% higher than last year. So so people are looking at the numbers and going, okay, well, I got that 3.5% mortgage on that house, and I don't necessarily need to sell it to buy the next house. And they run the numbers on it and they go, this is going to cash flow. It's going to give me a good internal rate of return because I have such a low interest rate on it. And so we are seeing that, where people say, well, you know what? I think I'll just keep it. Now, obviously, not everybody can do that because of their financial situation, but we're seeing it more often. People are becoming landlords.
And just two more points on that. If you haven't been a property manager before, hire a property manager.
Yes.
They take a small amount of what the income is every month to manage that property for you, but they're going to help make sure you get good tenants. They have resources. If the swamp cooler starts leaking through the roof or whatever, they can take care of those things. You don't get those maintenance calls, and they do that routine maintenance. If it is a swamp cooler, every spring and fall, they schedule maintenance to get it taken care of and
Yeah.
things. So that's a great resource. And if you're going to be able to keep it and use that income towards buying your new house to qualify, you have to have some history there, right? That how to be a landlord. So
yeah,
anyway.
I mean, that's a longer conversation, but it is an alternative for people, and that's
Yeah.
what we can help with as real estate professionals, is kind of help you evaluate those ideas in different ways to make that work.
Totally. We don't do property management.
No.
Our office doesn't here at Venturi Realty Group, but we know great property managers that can help you. So we can help evaluate what that income might be and what you might plan for. So some pros of buying for selling, of course, you have somewhere to move into right away.
Yeah.
You're not homeless, right?
Yep.
You don't have to put everything in storage and then move it twice if you can do that. You're not pressured into buying a house that might not be the right one because you're in a hurry, right? If you don't have, if you can buy before selling, you can take your time to find the right house.
Correct.
Versus, oh no, I found the right house. Now I have to get my house on the market and sell it really quickly before I buy the other house. That kind of stuff. It's pretty stressful too. Cons of buying before selling. The rush, right? You might take something lower than you might have otherwise price wise. Contingent offers are less competitive, and our market is fast paced. You may not have enough cash to make a competitive offer, right? If you decide to rent out your current home, being a landlord isn't always a walk in the park.
Yeah.
And if you decide to sell it, it's very challenging while there are tenants in the home. So a lot of times you need to wait and have it available after tenants move out. So you might have a month or two without some income while you're selling that house.
So Tracy, I'm gonna put the link to this story from Zillow. They did a really good job, detailing all of that. I mean, we've talked about it many times before, but in this market right now where we have very low supply, homes selling fast, you need to think about these things. And I mean, think about the times we've had people call us up and say, "Oh my gosh, the house I want just came on the market," and they haven't even really thought about what it's going to take to get their home sold. So if it's
Or their
even on the
financing strategy to
yeah,
buy the house.
yeah, I mean, if it's even on the radar, get prepared because in this market, things moving so fast, you got to be ready. You got to be ready to go. And let me offer one other idea for people that have a home and need to get it sold to move is the cash offer or cash purchase option. So we're partnered with the largest home buyer in the country, buys thousands of homes a month around the country, and you can get a cash offer with guaranteed close date, guaranteed price. Now, are you going to give up some of your equity in doing that? For sure. You're always going to get more if it goes through the MLS and goes out to the broad market. But it is an option for people, and we do see people doing that because they've built up so much equity in the last few years with the appreciation. It may work for them. So that is another alternative.
Right. So the story will be out there on YouTube.
It will,
And
Tracy.
so people can read the ins and outs of it for sure. The takeaway for me is we figure things out and we've made it work for people many, many times, even in this market right now. So we'd be happy to put together that kind of strategy with you.
Before we end for the day, Tracy, you said this market, we've said this market, we've said it multiple times. And I think there might be some misconceptions about what is going on in the market right now in Albuquerque, because there's been a lot of stories, national stories about, the houses, homes sales are down, the, home prices are down in some parts of the country. The thing is, this is a very, very, very strong seller's market, just as strong as last year. The pace isn't quite as frantic as last year because last year we had 3.5% mortgages. And so people were really, really jumping. People are a little bit more patient this year, but it is a very fast market and it is a very strong seller's market. And of course, it's not every home in every part of town, right?
No, it's not.
Yeah.
And it still is all about the condition, the location, and the price. All those things have to be right for a home to sell at the right velocity and price for somebody.
Yep.
So, yeah.
We are the Venturi Group with Real Broker in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Love doing the show. And again, being on the KIVA for so long, KIVA 1600 AM. Again, we do this on YouTube and on Facebook as well. So you can check it out there if you want to see the video of us sitting in our office here on Alameda down in the North Valley, the beautiful North Valley of Albuquerque. So
thanks so much,
words, Tracy?
No, if you want to go see open houses this weekend, get on our website because it'll be the most updated of not just the houses we represent, but all of the multiple listing service open houses that are scheduled for the weekend. So that'll be the most updated place. Welcome home, abq.com. .com.
I know. I'm glad I never misspeak ever. Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in. We really appreciate you. Take care.